Hello everyone, I am Ander and welcome to Ander for Your Spanish. Today we're going to learn the rules for using ser and estar in a very simple and clear way. Many English speakers get confused with these verbs, but the truth is once you understand the basic rules, everything becomes much easier. This video I'm going to explain you when you use each verb and you will understand with easy examples and uses in the real conversations. So relax, follow me and let's get started. Now let's talk about our first rule of ser. We use ser to describe things that are permanent or that are usually stay the same. These are basic characteristics that help us to say what a person or a thing is like. When you understand this idea, it's become much easier to use in Spanish correctly. For example, ella es alta. She is tall. We use ser because it is something that does not change. It describes her in general. Another example is la casa es grande, the house is big. The size of the house is a general and stable characteristic, so we use ser. When you think about this rule, imagine facts about a person or an object. These are not temporary feelings or short changes. These are qualities that show what something is like. That is why we use ser for a physical description, personality, color, materials, and things that stay the same most of the time. For example, él es amable. He's kind. Kindness is a personality trait, something that is usually stable. That's why we use ser. Another one, el cielo es azul. The sky is blue. This is a natural and general characteristic, so we also use ser here. So remember this. When we use ser to talk about permanent or general description, those are qualities that help us to explain what a people, places, or things are. This is the simplest way to understand how to use ser simply in Spanish. Into the rule number 3 of ser. This rule is about talking about where people are from. Is this one of the easiest rules because it never changes? When you say your country, your city, or someone else's origin, you always will use ser. This helps you to introduce yourself clearly and give simple information about others. So let's see how it works in a real situation. I am from Colombia. Yo soy de Colombia. When you talk about another person, the rules stay exactly the same. You still use ser, no matter if it is a friend, a family member, or someone you just met. It's a fixed rule, so you can feel relaxed using it every time you talk about origin. Like, she's from the US, ella es de Estados Unidos. We also use ser when we talk about nationalities. This is a very common when you met new people. Nationalities in English are usually short and easier to say, so this is pretty simple too. Just remember to say, if you describe someone's nationality, you use ser again. Nothing changes here. He is Mexican. Él es mexicano. So, keep this in mind. If you talk about a country, a city, or a nationality, the verb is always ser. This rule is stable, easy, and super useful for everyday conversation. With this, you can just simply introduce yourself confidently and understand others better. Let's begin with the first rule of the verb estar. This one is very simple and very common. We use estar to talk about location. This means where a person, where a place, or an object is at the moment. It can be a city, a room, a position, or any physical place. The important thing that is where we are talking about the current location, not a permanent description like with ser. So every time you want to say where something or someone is, you have to choose estar. This rule is easy to remember because you use it all the time in daily conversations, like telling someone where are you or asking where something is. Like, I'm at home, yo estoy en casa. This rule works the same for people, objects, or places. You can talk about your friends, your family, your school, or anything else. If you are pointing to the place where something is located, estar is the correct verb. It doesn't matter if the location changes or not. The idea is always the same. You describe where something is right now. For example, she is at school. Ella está en la escuela. We also use estar for places on maps, like cities, buildings. Even if a place never moves, we always will use estar because we're talking about the current position, the location in the world. So don't worry about when do you have to use it or not. Just remember, you have to use estar if you are describing the location of something. For example, the book is on the table. El libro está en la mesa. So, that's the rule number one for estar. Anytime you are describing the location, the verb will always be the same. It's clear, stable, and very helpful for basic conversations in Spanish. Now we're jumping into the second rule of estar. This rule is about temporary states. A temporary state is something that you can feel or experience for a short time. It can be an emotion or a physical condition, or any momentary situation. These things change, so we use estar to describe them. This rule helps us to talk about how we feel right now or how someone else is feeling right now, or how things are at the moment. It's very useful for daily conversations because people always ask you how are you, how you doing, etc. For example, I'm happy today. Yo estoy feliz hoy. This rule is also used for a physical states like being tired, hungry, or sick. These are not permanent things, they can change in a few hours or even a few minutes. Because the changes we use estar. That's why this rule is easy to understand. If the situation is not permanent, you will use estar. It gives us a clear idea the condition is only for now. For example, she's tired. Ella está cansada. We also use estar for simple moment condition around us. For example, the weather inside a room, the mood of a group of people, or the condition of an object in the moment. If something is temporary good, bad, clean, dirty, open, we will use estar. These are short states, not permanent facts, so the verb stays the same. The door is open, la puerta está abierta. So remember this. The rule number two of estar, it's always about temporary states. If it can change soon, that's why we will use estar. Only for the moment, the verb correct is estar. This rule is simple, natural, and will always help you. Now we're jumping into the second rule of estar. This rule is about temporary states. A temporary state is something that you can feel or experience for a short time. It can be an emotion or a physical condition, or any momentary situation. These things change, so we use estar to describe them. This rule helps us to talk about how we feel right now or how someone else is feeling right now, or how things are at the moment. It's very useful for daily conversations because people always ask you how are you, how you doing, etc. For example, I'm happy today. Yo estoy feliz hoy. This rule is also used for a physical states like being tired, hungry, or sick. These are not permanent things, they can change in a few hours or even a few minutes. Because the changes we use estar. That's why this rule is easy to understand. If the situation is not permanent, you will use estar. It gives us a clear idea the condition is only for now. For example, she's tired. Ella está cansada. We also use estar for simple moment condition around us. For example, the weather inside a room, the mood of a group of people, or the condition of an object in the moment. If something is temporary good, bad, clean, dirty, open, we will use estar. These are short states, not permanent facts, so the verb stays the same. The door is open, la puerta está abierta. So remember this. The rule number two of estar, it's always about temporary states. If it can change soon, that's why we will use estar. Only for the moment, the verb correct is estar. This rule is simple, natural, and will always help you. Okay, right now let's work with the rule number three of the verb estar. We use estar to talk about days, months, and seasons. And where are we in time? This rule is very simple because we use estar to say where are we in a specific moment. like a month, a day of the week, or a season of the year. We are not describing what the day or the season is like, we're only saying our current position in time. It's like pointing in a calendar and saying like, this is where are we right now? This idea is easy because the time moves and changes. So we use estar to show our current moment in a clear and in natural way. Like, for example, we are in May right now. Estamos en mayo. We are in a Monday right now. Estamos a lunes. When we talk about seasons, we also use estar to say where are we in the year. Seasons change slowly, but they still change. So we use estar to mark the moment we're living. It helps you to talk about the time of the year in a simple way without describing the weather or the temperature. It only points out the season we are in. This makes easy to explain the time in Spanish and gives a clear structure to follow. So think about this. We are in the winter season. Estamos en la estación de invierno. Another example with the seasons. We are in the summer season. Estamos en la estación de verano. You can choose whatever you want, spring as well, or any of them. But remember this. When you say where are we in the time of the calendar, like the month, the day, or season, you use estar. It shows the moment we're living right now, and it keeps your Spanish natural and easy to understand. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. It really helps the channel to grow. And if you want to improve your Spanish even faster, feel free to book a class with me. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao. Let's do the second rule of ser. We use ser when we talk about professions and identities. This means what a person is or the role they have in life. These are things that are not temporary, that describe someone in general. For example, él es doctor. He is a doctor. We use ser here because this is a job, it's a position, that describing him. Another example, yo soy estudiante. I am a student. This is my role in life right now. That's why we use ser in order to say it. We also use ser to talk about a group or identity or the way that the people identify themselves. It can be about a person's role, their job, title, or how they see themselves. This idea do not change easily from one moment to another. That's why we keep using ser. For example, ella es artista. She's an artist. That describes her work or her identity. Somos amigos. We are friends. This tells us the relationship between two or more people is stable. So, remember this. Use ser to talk about profession, roles, identities. These are general facts that describe who a person is. When you understand this simple rule, Spanish becomes much easier to understand.